Hey, welcome to Discovering More. My name is Ethan Lumen, one of the pastors here at Peace Church in Eau Claire. And we just wrapped up our sermon series. Well, we actually wrap it up next week, but we had a message this week on worship. I've heard it said, is heaven going to just be like a whole bunch of singing? Because if so, count me out. People have strong feelings about music, about church music, about all sorts of things. And so this past sermon addressed worship in the book of Revelation and worship in heaven. It's true, there's a lot of songs in the book of Revelation, and singing is something that characterizes the way or being in heaven. But as it comes to singing, we look at the biblical perspective on music, and we think about music for ourselves. Could you imagine life without music? Could you imagine movies without music? They kind of be boring, and I think we miss some of the dynamic, emotional elements of those movies. So music isn't necessary for the scriptures. It's not necessary for our lives, but it's a gift that's been woven into the Bible. For instance, when God prescribed worship in the Old Testament, there was no music. There's no music prescribed. It was just sacrifices and meals together is what it was. But what happened in the time of David was he was a songwriter, he was a poet, and he built instruments by himself out in the wilderness as he tended sheep. He got really good at building instruments, and he was a harpist and all sorts of things. So David established worship at the tabernacle in Jerusalem. He appointed choirs and musicians, and he made these paid jobs. So worship, music worship as part of worship really didn't come until, about 3,000 or 2,900 years ago. Now, I think that's important for a number of reasons. It's important to say, as we have maybe at least in our tribe, in the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, there's kind of disagreements over worship styles. Maybe people prefer the organ. Some people prefer piano. Some people prefer maybe acoustic music. Some prefer rock music, or maybe any kind of mix therein. But when it comes to music worship, God doesn't prescribe anything. It's all a gift. And David shows us the value of that gift, especially as you look at the book of Psalms and how meaningful those are to us. But it's interesting in the book of Revelation, one of the songs that it references is it says the Song of Moses. I think it's in Revelation 15 or 18. And as it talks about the Song of Moses, that's in Exodus chapter 15. That precedes David. It's one of the first songs in the Bible. And they sing this song after they are delivered with the Red Sea. After Pharaoh's army is drowned in the Red Sea and God's people walk through on dry land, that's the first song. So the song then becomes the celebration of victory, the celebration of deliverance. So music is celebratory. You watch any sporting event, you watch any game, there's music. Why? Because music helps us to celebrate what's going on. And it's the same with worship, with music, worship music in the church. It's one of the ways that helps us to celebrate. But also we see in the Psalms, we see songs that are coming from more of a broken heart. And music as well, it can get us pretty emotional. Maybe it can really pinpoint those moments of pain or heartache in our lives. And in the book of Revelation, we see the same thing. As we think about worship music, God gives this to us as a way of orienting our emotions to Him. So will heaven be only singing? No. But heaven will have singing, because it's a way of us orienting ourselves to God. Think about a mother with their child. They're singing songs to put them to sleep. Think about friends hanging out. There's music playing. All these areas of our lives, music plays such a pivotal role. And when it comes to worship, it's no different. So when you go back and listen to the sermon from Pastor David this week, or read through the book of Revelation and see the songs, and what you'll find is maybe a way to articulate how God has won the victory, how God has set the tone for our lives. And as you think about heaven and music and all that goes along with that, maybe you love to sing and you're really excited. Or maybe you don't want to be part of a choir and you're a little nervous. But at the end of the day, we all start jumping when Jump Around comes on. We all get excited when da-na-na-na-na-na plays. And so I think heaven is going to have some of that same excitement. Yeah. And as we worship today, maybe if you're struggling a little bit in your devotional practices right now, use music. Maybe turn on a song. If you're looking for some recommendations, reach out. We'd love to recommend some worship music. Otherwise, make a simple search on YouTube or whatever the case is. There's plenty of music to help deepen our walk with Jesus and help us connect more with him. Well, I hope this is helpful for you as you continue to discover more about who God is and what his love means for you.